oh, oh, oh my God. It's coming home. It's coming home. It is coming home. So just before, obviously, I discuss the amazing result from Tuesday night. 10 minutes into this match, I got the phone call that I was expecting, but my uncle had sadly died of cancer. So I just want to take this moment, a couple of seconds, just to say I love you, Kev, and rest in peace. So after that little bit of emotional moment, England, you did it. You did it for my Uncle Kev. You did it for me. You did it for the nation. You did it for yourselves. You did it for 96. All those Southgate. You did it all for all those painful, heartache moments in English football history against Germany, but also against other nations. It's as monumental as the Colombia penalty shootout win. Winning that penalty shootout was up there with one of the greatest moments of my life from a sporting point of view. And this one, let's be honest, it's there now. It's just unbelievable. I cannot wait to go through these the player ratings with you and give my player rating. My overall team score rating at the end. Look ahead, obviously, to what we all know now is the Ukrainian match. We've got to be heavy favourites, but I'll come on to that in a minute. But what a performance from England. Southgate with picking that formation, picking that squad. I wasn't one of those guys who was moaning about the starting 11. I just thought, look, that's the starting 11. I had faith in them all. I've said it before, I've said it again. This squad is that good. Anyone can come in and out, and I still feel like we'd have a good shout at winning any match. This Germany team had four previous World Cup winners in. It's obviously got a lot of new attacking young players in there. And we were deserved winners. Make no mistake about it, we were deserved winners. And Wembley, oh my God, Wembley. I've never wanted to be at a football match more in my life. But I so wanted to be there. It was amazing. The atmosphere, Sweet Caroline, Three Lions. When the first and second goal went in, the scenes, the limbs that was going off in those stands, it was just unbelievable. It made me emotional, obviously, because you knew it was such an amazing moment. England knocking out not only Germany, but a big team in a knockout round. But also, obviously, for my uncle, which I explained at the beginning of this video, it was one of the most emotional roller coasters I've had within 90 minutes. It will live that day for the result and for obviously what happened will live long in my memory. And it felt like a win for my uncle. It felt like a win for Kev. And it felt like it felt like the victory to take the nation also out of this, what has been the most awful, depressing 18 months. This victory cannot be underestimated. And it's absolutely fantastic. What a result. What a result. Get Southgate knighted. We've got to capitalise though now. We all know, without I'm not looking at it, but we all know in the back of our minds what the route is to this final. And we know deep down that we should now be making it. And I said it in my previous videos and I'm saying it again for the 100th time. I said that game on Tuesday would be the difference. It would be the most important game of my generation because I said it before the tournament, if we could beat a top team in that last 16 round and then only face possibility of one game away from Wembley in the semi-final and final at Wembley, I knew if we got through Tuesday, whoever it was, even before the tournament, I knew we'd have a shout of winning this tournament. We've done that. And my God, we have got a shout of winning this tournament. I just want to go over now my thoughts on the game. So obviously the first 10 minutes, I was quite nervous actually, my first 10 minutes. I thought Germany, let's be honest, were the better team. First 10-15 minutes, Germany seemed to settle better. They were playing better football. But then it was the point where Sterling had remember, he broke through the middle, had a wonderful curling effort on goal. And it was almost from that point on, I'm not saying we were by far the better team, but from that point on, that's when England sort of started to come alive. We competed, and I never thought we looked second best after that. I think we did. I think we were the better team from that point on. Really, we certainly had a better second half. It was just such a weird game because the England of the past doesn't get the second goal. We're certainly not the team that's getting that first goal with 10-15 minutes to play. The England of the past, it's the other team that gets that, and we're struggling to try and break them down. And And it's just, it goes back to the World Cup where, again, Southgate seems to be doing something different. You know, he's broke the duct of England losing on penalties. He's broke this duct of knocking a top team out of a knockout round and winning our first game within 90 minutes almost. Within a knockout round in European football, in European Championship, sorry. He keeps doing these little things where he just takes these records, but the negative records down, and you just constantly feel this England team's turning a corner all the time. And the icing on the cake obviously would be for us to go on and lift the trophy. And we have, make no mistake about it, doesn't matter who you are, whether you hate England or not, you've got to begrudgingly admit, even the Scottish fans and Welsh fans, that England now have a fantastic chance of winning their first trophy since the 66 World Cup. But like I said, after the first 15 minutes, I think England were probably the better team. Kane, again, probably should have scored before that. I think we've shown that Maguire is probably now going to be key to England winning this tournament. It was fantastic. When you look at this match, though, and I just want to take a minute to realise this is how exciting this England team is now. We've just beaten the Germans 2-0 in a knockout round, and we did not use at all, and we had them available in our squad, Mason Mount, Marcus Rashford, Jude Bellingham, Jadon Sancho, Calvert-Lewin or Phil Foden. Every single one of those players 6 years ago is a guaranteed starter for England, and it's an absolute crime if they're not on the pitch. This squad is that, and I've said it before, I do honestly believe we have the best squad. We don't have the best starting 11, but we have the best squad in the tournament. And it is starting to prove that and become useful, because I don't know about any other teams, but I feel like Gareth Southgate is able to almost change his entire starting 11. He won't, but he's almost able to change his entire starting 11 and it almost have no impact. He must have made almost the most amount of changes from any manager in terms of who he's starting. The front three is always changed. With that bench as well, I look at England now, and I'm trying to look at England from an opposition point of view. If you're looking at England, you're looking at a team that you're going to struggle to break down, given the fact that we play so many players behind the ball. But then you're also looking at the fact that if you try and push for a goal and you leave yourself exposed at the back, we will exploit that and we will have chances and we will score goals. We've been clinical when we've had the chances on the most part. And I wouldn't want to be playing England at the minute. I think you're struggling scoring against them, and ultimately you know they're going to nick a chance and probably put it away. And not only that, the options off the bench. You can't almost predict what teams are going to play or what their starting 11 is going to be, and it's really exciting as being an England fan. This squad is unbelievable. It really is. England, it's now's the time. The player ratings. Let's get into this one straight away. What a result! What a performance from minute one. Pickford, 8 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic. For me, and I know everyone's going to shoot me for it. I think Pickford at the minute is the best goalkeeper in the world. Never mind the best goalkeeper at this tournament. Is fantastic. I've again, and I keep saying, I'm going to go back to things I was saying before the tournament. I've never understood anybody calling for anyone else other than Pickford. He's clearly England's number one. I've said it right from day one. I love the man in an England shirt. He's never let us down. He's unbelievable. He does everything right. He saves. He puts those crucial passes in. He's great with his feet. He's calm. He's fantastic. 8 out of 10. Brilliant performance again. And let's be honest, our player of the tournament, probably alongside Sterling. But for me, Pickford is probably our best player of the tournament so far. Kyle Walker, gave him a 7. A good performance. Did what he needed to do. Solid. Played well, and him and Trippier, I think they were quite positive down that right hand side. 7 is by no means a bad rating. When, as I go through these team rating, player ratings, you'll see that 7 it's just, this is the stat. No England player I've given a lower than a 7 to. So good game from Walker. Stones 7.5. I think he was fantastic. The only reason why he hasn't got a higher for me is because Maguire. And I've given Maguire 8.5. He was an absolute machine. He was an absolute unbelievable. He was absolutely unbelievable. He was charging out. He was commanding the headers. He was just dominant. He was so dominant in that back line. And he he showed how important he is. And I said, going back, how can we take Mings out? Because Mings was having a fantastic tournament in the group stages. But Maguire's come back in and he's just that performance on Tuesday night was just unbelievable. He was fantastic, one of our best players on the pitch. Trippier, I've given him a 7. I think him and Walker had pretty similar games, so that's why I didn't really want to pick one above the other. Though two on the wing, you feel like, I think there was a couple of times, particularly with Walker, I think he could have put the ball in a few more times. Trippier, I think, probably was a bit better on the day, so maybe 7's a bit harsh, but 7 again, still had a good game. 7 is a good rating, so yeah, 7 for me for Trippier. Phillips, I gave an 8. You got a little bit more of a taste, didn't you, about what he was like against Croatia. You felt like that Phillips was coming back. He really got stuck in. There was a crunching tackle, I think, when he lost it, and he came back and took one of their players out. I think it was, it might have been Werner or someone, but he completely wiped someone out on the wing, or Havertz, I believe. So, yeah, no, but he was fantastic, Phillips. Really strong, really powerful, got about the pitch, made a nuisance of himself, and yeah, 8 out of 10. Rice, I've given him 7.5 out of 10. I think it was probably Rice's best game of the tournament. I think also considering the way the game went is, he got a yellow card after 8 minutes. If anyone remembers, Germany pulling through and he did take someone down. They had a free kick in a really good area, and Rice ended up getting a yellow card for that. And I was thinking in the 8th minute, Rice getting a yellow card, I thought, right, this is going to be a tough afternoon for him. But he did well. He stemmed that tide. He did really, really well. He didn't make any silly challenges after that, and he was involved. That I think it was him who was getting the crowd riled up at the end. The passion, and that's sometimes all we want to see as England fans: passion, pride, playing for the shirt, whether it's club or country. As a fan, it's fantastic. So Rice 7.5. Shaw, I've given 7.5 again. I know he got the assist, so maybe it could have been a little bit higher. But I think before that, again, I feel like he was probably lacking a bit of attacking intent, but he still had a fantastic game. As the game wore on, obviously he made much more of an impact. And I think 7.5. Shaw showed really when he gets in those positions on the wing. If he gets up there, he's got the ability to put the ball in the right place. So, really good performance from Shaw. Saka, I've given an 8. We all know he came off obviously towards the end. Probably disappointingly, people probably didn't really want him to come off, but we'll come on to his replacement in a minute. But Saka had a fantastic game. He was again that player when everyone else looked a bit flat initially within those first few minutes. Saka was the one grabbing the ball, making lovely little turns, tight turns, and drawing fouls. It was again an absolute pain, and it's again an argument. He didn't win man of the match, that, but again he's one of England's best players again when he's played. So you cannot fault Saka. He's a Pickford from the outfield in terms of when he wears that England shirt. He's a fantastic player. So Saka 8 out of 10, really well done. Harry Kane, what a weird performance. I mean, let's be honest, it was more of the same for Kane, and Kane would have been probably the only player to get 6 in this rating if he hadn't scored at the end. He should have scored. I think he should have took it first time and scored before that when the ball bounced through to him. He didn't, but it is what it is. He did get his goal. End of the day, he's got to be there. He's got to be in the position, but he's still, a goal can't paper over the cracks. I know he's there to score goals, and he did get a goal. But I think he should have 2 or 3 already in this tournament. He's not took his chances very well. He couldn't have missed that, really. I don't want to moan about it. I don't want to be too critical. But it's the fact that he does need to get involved in play a little bit more, doesn't he? So I've given him a 7. Some people may say that's harsh. Some people may even say that it's too generous. So it obviously splits people's opinion, but I've gone for 7 for Kane. Sterling, 8.5. His best game of the tournament. By far the best game of his tournament, and he did really well. The criticism with Sterling, let's get this right. I've criticised Sterling, and I'll continue to criticise Sterling, but the criticism is because you see how good he can be, and when he gets in these positions, he just doesn't have that final end product. And it was a similar thing again, where he easily gets overpowered or easily beat, but he is the player that continuously will make those runs and try something, and eventually something will come off. So he's a pain, he is a nuisance. It was his best game for England at this tournament, and he did make the difference. But he did get the goal and he made the run. So 8.5, but really well done, Sterling. And the final player, obviously, the main sub really who came on, but Jack Grealish came on, and I've given him an 8.5. It was a constant threat. Inspired substitution by Southgate. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he was too much for Germany when he came on. The right player, right time. Put a wonderful ball in for Kane where you could easily overhit it or put it in the wrong area or just behind him or just in front of him, and he did what he needed to do in the short time he was on. He did exactly what he needed to do. So I think 8.5, fantastic player, as we all know. I'm not one who's always going to push for him to start. I'm not going to push for anybody to start. Southgate knows what he's doing. I'm happy with any starting 11 he puts out, really, and let him go from there. But Grealish, 8.5. He's proven, really, Southgate, he doesn't have to start to to be useful to England. So Grealish, fantastic. So that comes to my overall team rating. I'm going to go with 8.5 for England. I think we were the better team. I think we did deserve to go through. I think even on chances, because considering the fact that obviously the two we took, Maguire should have scored, Kane should have scored. I think probably on chances actually, even though you're looking at Werner's and Muller's chance, we still probably had more chances as well. So we were the better team. We did deserve to win. But obviously we were lucky not to concede, very lucky not to concede. Probably should have conceded. But we didn't. So, it's another clean sheet, but I think overall 8.5, but clearly, again, there's still room for improvement, and that is why this England team is so exciting. Looking at the Ukraine match, though, I believe, if this is a European qualifier or World Cup qualifier, I am literally sitting in the bath watching this game, not even worried about it in the slightest. Tournament football, though, anything can happen. It's 11 versus 11. But I fully expect England to comfortably get through. I don't think going forward that Yarmolenko's obviously been in good form, scored some good goals. I don't think going forward though they won't have enough. I don't think, and certainly at the back, I feel like at some point they're gonna concede chances against us, and we will punish them. I feel you don't want to come across as arrogant or too optimistic. But I fully expect England to win this 2-0. I think we'll try and keep the clean sheet again and then get those couple of goals. We're never going to win any game 3-4-0, so no one is predicting that. I don't think it's going to be realistic. That's not the way we're playing. But I think a 2-0 victory is well within reach and moving on to the semi-final. But I'm not looking past this next game. Don't get me wrong, it is an absolute disaster now if England do not get past Ukraine. It is an absolute disaster. I don't think that will happen. I think Southgate's too calm, too controlled. This team's too incredibly level-headed. And then after that, who knows what's going to happen. I think we're going to have a semi-final going into it, no matter who we get, where you'd fancy us. You would fancy us. And then the final is, obviously the final, we'll come to that later. But, you can't help but look ahead when you're at this point, when you're 3 games away from lifting a trophy. So you can't blame any England fan to then saying who we might get in the semi-final and final, thinking we're dismissing this next quarter-final. We're not. But clearly you are going to look ahead. I think anyone who automatically thinks the game's over on this weekend, you're an idiot. I will say that because it isn't. Ukraine will cause us problems. They are not going to be a pushover. We've got quite a good record against them, but we've never thrashed them. Never. Not as far as I remember. It's all been the odd 1 or 2 nils. And it'll be a tough game. It will be. They will fight. We saw that in their game. They're against Sweden. They are going to be a tough team to break down. And this game is not a walkover for England. I know it should be, but in tournament football, 11 versus 11, anything can happen. So please, all England fans, please respect this next game because we've got to. But if we get through it, we're all saying, but if we get through it, we all know the chance that's ahead now, and we've just got to take it. So, yeah, thank you very much for listening. Please like and subscribe. And yeah, I cannot wait for this weekend. Let me know where you're watching it. Let me know your thoughts below. Who was your man of the match? I didn't actually say my man of the match. I'm probably going to go with Sterling, as my man of the match. But who was yours? I think UEFA gave it to Maguire, actually, or star of the match, isn't it, that they give now? I think Maguire got it. Again, he did have a fantastic game. It was, let's be honest, we're going to all struggle to beat that moment. It's going to go down in all our history. It's been, it'll be in all our YouTube playlists as one of the greatest England moments ever. It was a fantastic result. I've watched it back 15 times and cried almost every single time. I can't wait. I hope I'm doing a video for the final. And saying that makes my heart flutter. I hope to God I am delivering a video for the final and talking about it and just being absolutely buzzing for it. And that's where I want to be. Let's get through this quarter final. Come on, England. And I'll see you in the next video.